What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. First of all, I know, ill, babyface. We're gonna move on. We're gonna let it grow back out. Yeah, I'll probably make a video as to why I did this at some point, but that's not this video. This video is looking at polarity as far as astrology is concerned. Obviously, polarity is a binary concept. There's no, like, it's kind of like a magnet, the poles on a magnet, north and south. And polarities, it does influence astrology. It's one of the broader overlying things. We are going to get more and more specific as we go on, but I just thought I'd lay a nice foundation so that we know where we stand. So I'm going to read to you some short little bits from our much beloved and also reliable source, Wikipedia. I do encourage you, if this is something that you are interested in, do further research. Wikipedia generally has a references section down the bottom, because you can't really put anything on Wikipedia without referencing it, because they like to cover themselves from plagiarism and copyright. So yeah, check out the links in the references section if you want to go further into this. This is just, like I said, a blanket over the top, the basics to get you started, and if you're interested in this, you can continue on. Now the section that, and I will also link the pages that I've got here. The section that talks about polarity also talks about the 4 elements, and I will go into each of the elements individually in their own videos. But this is, like I said, this is just the opener. So Empedocles, who was a 5th century Greek philosopher, is the one who identified fire, earth, air, and water as the elements, as like the natural elements. Now, what's interesting about these is that they do fit into polarities of their own, but completely unrelated to that. These 4 elements are also scientifically significant, and so when Empedocles explains that the nature of the universe is an interaction of 2 opposing principles that he referred to as love and strife, manipulating those 4 elements, and stated that those 4 elements were all equal, of the same age, and rules its own province and possesses its own individual character. Different mixtures of these elements produced the different natures of things, and he also said that those who are born with nearly equal portions of the 4 elements are more intelligent and have the most exact perceptions. But the interesting thing, aside from all of that, sort of like backstory for the elements in astrology, is that they also represent the 4 stages of matter in science, with earth being solids, water being liquids, air being a gas, and then fire representing plasma, which is the same state of matter as like electricity. So it's the 4 states of matter as well, which is very interesting, because obviously the Chinese ones don't fit that. They don't have any gas at all. There's no air in their 5 element cycle, and there are 3 representing solids. So these 4 natural elements, when you look at it, it's like, yeah, no, it's a mixture of a solid and a liquid, for instance, to get a saline solution, because salt is salt is solid at room temperature and water is liquid. Put the two together, one is just soluble, and you get something else. And so that's how alchemy kind of fades into being science. If you start looking at it as more of a solid, liquid, gas, plasma. So each of the 12 signs is associated with one of the classical elements, and they can also be grouped according to their polarity. Now, the polarity is very similar to yin-yang. I've already mentioned Chinese astrology. Like I said, this is a big blanket term for polarities. Yin-yang is the symbol for polarity. Even Western astrology uses that. They've adopted that symbol to just represent polarities. Now, obviously, the yin-yang can represent a bunch of different things. So, where are we here? I've got a page on the yin-yang open. So yin is receptive and yang is active. They can represent summer and winter, north and south, shade and brightness, male, female, order and chaos, light and dark, hot and cold, wet and dry, any sort of opposites really. Positive and negative is generally how you'll see them used for Western astrology, and again, we're looking at it as if it was a magnet in that term. On the Wikipedia page for the astrology sign, but this section is, it does say in a little table, it says positive, male, self-expressive, and then negative, female, self-containing. That does not mean that, only self-expressive males can be born under a positive sign. It just, or that only, self-containing females can be born under a negative sign. It also doesn't mean that only positive people are born under these 6 signs and only negative under these 6. It's simply just stating that one is different but equal to the other. Which, when you start putting this as like one of the major things within your core belief system, equal but different to, and one of the opposites that you can refer to it as is male and female. Equal but opposite to, or different to, differs from. But yeah. So fire and air signs are considered to be the positive signs, while water and earth are the negative signs. They all, the elements also sort of correlate with Hippocrates' personality types based on the 4 humours. I will go into this. Going to be upfront and honest, and this is a part that I myself am not entirely knowledgeable on. 4 humours kind of escape me. I have no idea what they're supposed to mean. They're named after 4 bodily fluids. 2 of them are just different types of bile. There's sanguine, which is air, choleric, which is fire, melancholic, which is earth, phlegmatic, which is water. I think the choleric one, fire, is based on blood, because both fire and blood are red. And then phlegm is phlegm. And then obviously the 2 different types of bile. Bile is, along with whatever's in your stomach at the time, the stuff that you throw up. It is sort of the acidic part of vomit that leaves that really nice taste in your mouth. So yeah, like I said, I don't understand them. it is a part that I'm trying to make myself more knowledgeable in. Once I figure it out, we will discuss, but as for now, it's just a fun fact to know. If you know something that I'm like if you are able to explain them to me, leave a comment please, because I would love to understand what the four humours are supposed to be about, because I've no idea. A modern approach looks at the elements as the energy, substance of experience, and the table that they've got on this page summarises them through keywords. So the fire signs, which are Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. The keywords there is agitation, drive and willpower. Both between that and its association with the colour red, just to tie in a little bit of nerd culture here, Gryffindors. The air signs, which are Gemini, Libra and Aquarius, are all about communication, socialization and conceptualization. Between that and their association with, it's the air sign, so Ravenclaw, for having the only bird. Earth signs, practicality, caution, the material world, they are Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn. And if we're tying them into Hogwarts houses as well, Hufflepuffs. And then water with emotion, empathy and sensitivity. Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces are our signs there, and obviously they get Slytherins, the ones who have a common room in the dungeons and whose founder created the Chamber of Secrets, which uses the school's plumbing system. So water makes sense there. So the polarities and the elements have gained such importance that some astrologers will actually start their interpretation of your birth charts, your natal charts, by studying the balance of elements shown by the positions of planets and the angles. And this is especially particular for the sun, the moon, and the ascendant's signs. So whenever anyone's asking you, like, what are your big three signs, they're asking your sun, your moon, and your ascendant. Mine are a Libra sun, Virgo moon, and a Sagittarius ascendant. It is possible to have all three be exactly the same sign, and I will also talk about sun, moon, and ascendant signs at some point in the future as well. But yeah. So the way that the zodiac actually pans out, it does alternate between positive and negative. So it starts with fire, then goes earth, then air again for positive, then water, and that cycle repeats 3 times to get the 12. There is another cycle underneath that called the modalities, and we will get to that after we've looked at the elements. But for now, that's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and ring that notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. Again, all the links will be in the description down below. But it's just Wikipedia, astrological sign. Scroll down to the bit where it says polarity and the 4 elements. I've just read that whole bit. There's another bit there where in like one of the grey bars where it says main articles, polarity, and then in brackets astrology is another one to look at. It's a very short bit, basically just tells you not a lot really, for being completely honest. There's certainly more that they could have put in there that they just ended up putting in the main article. But if you really want a in-depth representation of what polarities really are, you can't go past yin yang. It does look at it more from the Chinese side of things, but it will still give you a very good sense of what the polarities are all about. But yeah, with all that said and done, until next time guys, keep your head screwed on.